you're really beautiful. And I just remember that moment of, oh, shit. I don't know what the hell sexual assault is, but I know it's about to happen. Basically, I went through very different, police scenarios. The police all came. They took me to get my rape kit done. The first police officer on the scene was amazing, Officer Brannon. It's been 13 years and I still remember his name. He's the one who drove me to the hospital. They were incredible. But Monday, this happened Friday. Monday morning, I was back at school. Because I didn't know, there was no other option. Like, I couldn't think of another option. And what's really sad is that I come from a line of women being sexually abused. It wasn't until I was raped that it came out that my mom, my aunt, my cousin, my other cousin, all molested by my grandmother's brother. I didn't know any of that. And so I did what my family had done. I went back to school, I went back to work, and I was in mock trial, I was in theater, I made myself busy, and when I was on campus on Monday, the media was there. News people everywhere asking questions. So what do you think about that girl who was just raped at your school?
God.
Like it's, it's like Justin Bieber sort of story, right? Like it's supposed to be funny. So I get really passionate thinking about high school and my experience in high school, and the truth is that there's not a lot of space for people to come out and report. There isn't. Because people don't want to talk about it. They don't. It hurts, it sucks, it's sad, and I've just been sitting here and watching Grace, and I'm so blown away by her, and I'm so blown away by her community. And the truth is that there's been a lot of rapes within the past couple of years in the East Bay. A girl was gang raped outside of her prom, right? There was something like that. There's been a lot happening within your community. And the best thing that you can do is to start raising awareness about it. Start getting people to share. And, Grace's scenario is more of a scenario in an older situation, but a lot of the scenarios is by someone that someone knows, a babysitter, a family member. It's a lot more intimate than we think. My rape was the myth. You're jogging in a dark park and you get grabbed by a stranger. Mine is the smallest percentage of what happens out there. The reality is that most people are raped by someone that they know. And that's a big reason why it's not reported. So I'm just going to close. I'm trying to look through my notes real quick. I'm just going to close and talk to you a little bit about what I did to heal and the work that I'm doing now. I dealt with being raped in a very similar way to Grace. I was like, I'm coming out and I'm talking about it. And I spoke and was interviewed in newspapers, and I really relate to what you were saying about your witness impact statement, because that is where I found my voice as well. The gentleman who raped me was eventually apprehended. He was a couple of years older than I am right now at that time. So he was like 33. He had a wife and he had 2 young sons. And he had raped 7 young women in Southern California, some younger than me and some older than me. And he decided last minute to plead guilty. And so I was brought in to make a witness impact statement. And I sat in the back of the room, and I don't know, okay, so it was a little different scenario. So I had a lot of people going up and making witness impact statements, and I was one of the last people to go up and speak. And I remember sitting in the back just crying, because everyone went up there and they were like, you, go to hell, burn, die, like every single horrible thing that you could say to a human being, they were saying to him. Because they were angry. Of course, he did a horrible thing. But he just sat there and he was a stone. He was completely impenetrable. Thank you. And one of the things that I knew before I went was that I had to forgive him. For me. I think it was you that said this. He had me for 30, 45 minutes, January 8th, 1999, but he was not going to have the rest of my life. And that is how I felt about it. So I knew that I had to forgive him. So I went out there, and I was shaking, and I was bawling hysterically. And I also remember it being one of the most articulate moments of my life. And I asked him to look at me. And I told him I forgave him. I said, I'm going to pray for your soul. I'm going to pray for your family. I'm going to pray for you to find some forgiveness. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but 76% of perpetrators were sexually abused as kids. So when someone goes out and commits a crime like this, they've actually been victims of crime as well. They just haven't healed. And the night that it happened to me, and I was at home after hours at the hospital, I was crying, and my aunt looked over at me and she said, "Why are you crying?" And I knew in my heart, and I said, I wonder what happened to him that made him do this to me. And so that night, and then that witness impact statement became my journey and my passion, was understanding this healing process on a much deeper level. Because there is a difference, victim and survivor. There's a big difference, and you feel it when you're surviving. Like, you feel the difference. But we're not done there. Because I don't want to just survive. I don't want to just survive. I want to live my life full. I want to be happy. I want to have healthy relationships. And I want to bring others up around me. So, to close that, I just want to say that it's a big deal, you guys being here. Because it's the first step in changing the paradigms of sexual violence. And to have high school kids here and families, this is your guys' community. Rape happening in your community is your responsibility. So if you want things to change, what was the other statistic? She was saying 30 you're saying 30 a month? 30 a month reported, right? 75% are not reported. So there's 100 rapes happening in your community a month. That's 3 a day. Your community. So if you want to do something about it, have more events, have more mixers, and I'm just really grateful that I was asked to be here this evening. It's a part of my vision and moving it forward. I have my own organization called Create Social Change. What I do is I socialize people to deal with trauma differently, and the community to deal with trauma differently. And one of my largest projects is that we pair people who've been sexually assaulted with artists to portray them as thriving. So we work with those people who've already been through the therapy and are looking for another layer to uncover. And if we're going to make some changes, then we have to really pay attention to our language. We need to really reach out into our community, and we have to really dig down deep and heal past this, past surviving. So just one more thank you very much, Grace. I'm super humbled and in awe of you, because this is a huge accomplishment, and you're accomplishing this at 15 years old. So I was 17 when I first started getting up there and nervous to speak. You stay committed to it, you are going to blow this world away. So please give Grace another big round.